Live action role-playing takes place in a real space. What happens is that people will go into that space and they will take on some role. This role may be something fairly generic. You are a spy, you are an assassin. It's an elaborate form of let's pretend. Sometimes there are costumes involved, sometimes there isn't. Usually people wear something to show that they're in the game. Big games are an evolution from live-action role-playing games. Live-action role-playing games came out from the 70s and the 80s. They've sort of evolved somewhat with technology, but big games really take advantage of digital communication.
A lot of this current interest in it has been generated by the use of cell phones and other technologies that allow a lot of people to sort of be connected even if they're not in the same physical location.
If we think of big games as games that don't have a board or a specific space where they're played and that's the only thing that you can do with them, then ARGs are a type of big game since they take place kind of in and amidst everyday life. They take place through email or on the phone or in person. Alternate reality games, which are a type of big game, started out largely as promotional projects for movies. I mean, the first major ARG was called The Beast, and it came out to promote Steven Spielberg's movie Artificial Intelligence. Maybe the second really famous ARG was called I Love Bees. It was created by the same people who created The Beast, as well as Jane McGonigal, who's now a pretty well-known game designer, who came on board and helped them prepare it, but it was designed to promote Halo 2.
I've helped produce with a company called 42 Entertainment, and in those games, thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of players come together to solve puzzles that no single player could solve alone.
People found a set of coordinates online, a bunch of numbers, and they didn't know what they meant. And eventually they figured out that the numbers were geographical coordinates that they had to go to, and at every one of these pairs of numbers there was a public payphone. And if they were there at the specific time that it said next to those numbers online, that phone would ring, and if they picked it up they would hear a piece of a story, like a drama. And so at hundreds of payphones all over the world, people organized to make sure that someone would be standing with a recording device at all of those payphones at the right time. They got all of these little chunks of story, and then they pieced them all back together.
I'm also an experimental game designer working in the area of games for public spaces, massively multiplayer social experiences that are played out in real-world, everyday environments.
And what Jane McGonigal really kind of brought to the mainstream in ARGs was the idea that rather than just being online and using email and going to web pages to find information, you would actually have to, in real life, play in the game yourself. You would go out, you would do something, you would be somebody and interact with other people in real time. Her idea was that games could be a communal activity, which is something they stopped being when we started playing video games like Mario Brothers, where you sit at home by yourself.